Greetings, Beatles friends. What's going on? Time for a Beatles update video. This will be one of two Beatles update videos I'll be posting here. This video will be focusing on my US pressings of the Beatles albums that I purchased recently. I'm going to show everything else in my next video. I have a variety of Beatles records pressed in different countries such as the UK and Germany and Japan and China, and a bootleg and some solo Beatles. I'll be showing the rest of those for my next video. I hope you enjoy this video where I show only the US Beatles albums that I purchased recently. So let's begin. I'm going to start off with Meet the Beatles. This was a $9 fine, and this is a third pressing because the name the Beatles here, it's a light brown color. I guess it's like light brown, light green color. The first and second pressing, the Beatles name is a brownish color. And here's the back here. This one doesn't have the produced by George Martin credit here. This one is in wonderful condition. Well worth $9. So happy to have this. Here's the inner sleeve, original Capitol inner sleeve, in stunning condition. No seam splits, nothing. This record looks like it looked like it was open and never played. And it was just, it stayed on the shelf for 50 plus years. And here's the record, Capitol color band label. As you can see, this has the BMI and ASCAP credits for the songs. Now, the first pressing of this album, it doesn't have BMI or ASCAP listed on both sides of the label for the 12 songs. And the record's in wonderful condition. Plays great from start to finish. Okay, this one is the Beatles' second album, and it's a confirmed first pressing from 1964. Here it is. As you can see, the Beatles name here, it's a brownish color, dark brownish color. Back of it. This is another one that looked like it was never pulled out a lot. It just stayed in the shelf and was never touched again. But really nice condition. This cost me $12, so this is definitely a steal. Here's a Capitol inner sleeve. There's a little seam thing here, but it's not torn. Here's the record here, mono pressing. Record's in stunning condition. A few light scratches, but this looked like it wasn't played at all. But, the way you can tell that this is a first pressing. Now, the two songs on side 2, the opening two songs, Long Tall Sally and I Call Your Name, both of them don't have the track times like the other songs on the album. Now, if your copy of the second album doesn't have the track times on these two songs on your original mono pressing, then this is a first pressing from 1964. They corrected that error on later pressings. Okay, this next record is a $5 fine. This is not in the same great condition as all the other records that I have in front of me here. This is a Hard Day's Night, the movie soundtrack on United Artists, and it's in stereo. Some tears here on the back. Back cover's not perfect. There's some wear on it. Front cover doesn't look too bad. Here's a record on United Artists. It's actually there's a lot of light scratches and inner sleeve scratches here, but despite the condition, this plays great. I still had to clean it up. Okay, going back to the U.S. Capitol albums that I purchased at my local store for a really good price. This next record was $7. Beatles 65. Backside, also in wonderful condition. And here's the original teen set inner sleeve. And this one, oh my god. Oh, the condition of this record along with the others, they all made my mouth drool. I could not believe the condition of these records. These look like these came out last year instead of 50 plus years ago. No seam split on this inner sleeve. Here's a record here. This is an original. And this one plays great. Some light scratches, but this one just, oh my god. This one just, the playback of this is just wonderful. It plays new. And this is much better than my father's copy from the 60s. My father wore this album out. He wore all of his U.S. albums out back in the 60s on a cheap turntable. And I played those records on the turntable. They don't sound great anymore. So these are definitely worth upgrading. So this next Capitol album, this is not a first pressing. This is a 1967 pressing. This is the early Beatles, and it's in mono, like the rest of the albums I showed you, except for the Hard Day's Night soundtrack. Now I showed this record in the Beatles collectors group, and someone confirmed that that their copy, which was pressed in 1967, it has this little hole here, little drill hole. Back of it, not in the greatest condition. There's a little wear, but not bad at all. Here's a record. I forgot to show the inner sleeve here. This is a Capitol inner sleeve, but this is a 1966 inner sleeve. Because as you can see, it has Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys and Yesterday and Today by the Beatles, the Rubber Soul album, and Revolver. All those albums were released after the early Beatles here. So this is definitely a later pressing, a 1966 or 67. It's got the collector confirmed it is from 1967. So. Okay, going back to the Beatles records that I purchased in great condition at the same store. This next record cost me $7, around $7. Beatles 6, mono pressing. Little dent there on the top left there. Little kind of a crease there, but despite that, the rest of the album looks really good. It's stunning as hell. Let me show carefully. Look at that. Here's the back here. Little little ring wear here, but it's not bad at all. You can see everything clearly here. This is the Capitol Records inner sleeve. This is a strange one. Now the condition of this record literally knocked me over. It really shocked the hell out of me. I could not believe the condition of this record. I've never seen this copy look so good in my entire life. Here's a record here. This looks like it was Just there's a little spindle thing here, but this record is just, there's hardly a scratch on this thing, man. There's the back side. Look at this. Well worth the money. I'm so glad I got this. Oh man. And on this copy, there's a I did research on this pressing, and on certain copies, the song "Words of Love" is BMI, and some pressings, "Words of Love" is listed ASCAP. On this copy, "Words of Love" is ASCAP. Okay, this next US Beatles album cost me $9. It's actually $8.98 on the sticker. This is Help, the original motion picture soundtrack in mono. Let me show the spine. No seam splits. None of the jackets that I showed none of the jackets that I showed you previously, none of them have seam splits. Here's the back side. Little wear, but the wear doesn't affect the fact that this looks wonderful. Gatefold. Carefully open the gatefold. Here's the original inner sleeve. And this one, this inner sleeve looks gorgeous. It is not tore up like on most copies. This is just flawless. And here's a record. Just a couple light scratches, but none of them affect play. This plays almost near mint. This is just wonderful, wonderful. Okay, now on to these last two records. We have Revolver. This is a mono pressing. Wear on the back cover here, as you can see, but not in bad condition. This is this is still in nice shape. Here's a Capital 66 inner sleeve. The seams are split, and there's a hole punched through here. Here's a record. It's in wonderful condition. Hardly a scratch on it. A few light scratches, but this one plays wonderful despite the jacket and the inner sleeve condition. Okay, one more Beatles album to show you, and that's the Yellow Submarine soundtrack. This one has some wear on it. Now this one is an oddity, and I'll show you why. No track listing on the back here. Now the back cover's not here, so must be a manufacturer error. But I saw this. I'm like, yeah, this is you know, it doesn't have the track listing on the back, so I thought I'd get it, you know, because I like to collect Beatles oddities. So here's a record on Apple, And I don't think this is a first pressing. My father's copy of this album, the U.S. copy, it is a first pressing, and the label looks different from the labels on this copy. The apple is in dark green, and the layout of the side details is different from this copy. And this one plays great. I had to clean it up before playing it. Okay, that wraps up this Beatles update video where I show the US albums. I hope you enjoy seeing these records, and I hope you enjoy the condition of most of the records. Gonna have another Beatles update video. Like I said, I'm gonna show everything else that I purchased recently. And before I end the video, I want to remind you of the 600 subscriber Q&A. I'm gonna give you all another day to post questions, and then I'm gonna start answering them on maybe the 23rd. So looking forward to seeing more questions, and I'm looking forward to answering all of them. So all the questions I've read so far are really good questions. I can't wait to answer them. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you once again to the 600 plus subscribers for subscribing to my channel. Talk to you all later. Thank you for watching.